I think I said in one of my early videos, I forget which one, but basically one of my main points has always been that what TNA had to do to get a leg up on the WWE was to focus on what made their product different. You really play up and highlight the stuff that they can deliver that the WWE does not. And one of those things is the knockout division. And the WWE divas are kind of a joke. I mean, we all know it. Not that they don't have some very talented women over there, but they just don't get showcased the way that they should be. And they really don't get to display their full potential, and it doesn't look like that's going to change anytime soon. And I'm not saying that what TNA is doing with the knockouts is perfect right now, but they are at least better about this than the WWE. And generally, I just find the knockout division to be a lot more interesting and fun to watch, despite the flaws. And this show is a lot like that, actually. Because when they first announced this, I thought it was a really cool idea. I wasn't expecting it to draw big ratings just because of the holidays, but having a special devoted to their women's division, that's something the WWE just wouldn't do. And anytime you can say that, it's a good thing. And overall, I think the show came off fairly well. It wasn't perfect by any means, but I did enjoy it. The matches were longer than usual. They didn't hit us with any stupid gimmicks. It was presented seriously, which leads me to believe that it was Scott D'Amore that was spearheading this thing. And what a difference that makes. I mean, the booking of this show was just so much better than the booking of the women usually is. I mean, on Impact, they give us ODB versus Tara in a trailer park throwdown with some retarded stipulation where they both have to drink a six-pack before the bell rings or something. And here they just got rid of all the stupid stuff, and the women just went out to the ring and had some good matches. And isn't that so much better? And I like what I saw for the most part. I mean, there weren't really any bad matches you could point to, although I could have lived without ODB versus Tracy. I think Hamada versus Roxy was the best match of the night. Hamada was easily the MVP of that show, and I definitely think she would have been a better choice to win the tournament. But I'll get to that in a minute. Aside from all the usual girls, they booked a bunch of women from the indies for this thing as well. This part was disappointing to me. I really wasn't crazy about the women they brought in. I heard from one source that Sarah Del Rey was on their list of girls that they wanted to use, but that didn't happen, unfortunately. So they had April Hunter and Lorelei Lee work a match with Sarita and Taylor. Um, April Hunter and Lorelei Lee? That's a pretty random pairing, isn't it? And that was the problem. They're not a tag team. They didn't wrestle like a tag team. They had no chemistry. They obviously weren't familiar with each other. And this is the reason why all those makeshift teams in the inaugural Tag Team Championship tournament a few months ago didn't work out. You can't just throw two random people together and expect them to mesh and call them a tag team. It doesn't work that way. So, if you wanted to try out some new competition for Sarita and Taylor, why wouldn't you bring in an actual team for this? I mean, someone like the Canadian Ninjas or the International Homewrecking Crew would have been perfect, but no, you're just going to go with two random singles wrestlers. And frankly, I wasn't that impressed with either of them. Lorelei in particular seemed kind of unsure of herself out there. They didn't do too badly, but they really didn't show anything that made you think, oh my god, TNA has to sign these women. And hopefully they won't. I think there are much better female talents out there, and TNA can do a lot better than these two. Now, according to the spoilers, they also had Amber O'Neil versus Lizzie Valentine in a dark match that reportedly didn't go very well and was full of botches. Amber O'Neil, I really don't care about. And to be honest, I'm just not that familiar with Lizzie Valentine. Although I do know that she's a better worker than what she probably showed in that match. So if they wanted to give her another look at some point, I guess that'd be alright. But anyway, as for the rest of the show, I enjoyed the tournament itself. The problem was, when it was all over, I really didn't see any reason for it. I mean, apparently the point of the whole thing was for ODB to go over and win another shot at Tara. And that's just stupid for a couple of reasons. Number one, ODB's the former champion, so she should already be getting a rematch. I mean, I know former champions don't always get rematches in TNA for some reason, but that usually is the case with Booking 101. Number two, Tara and ODB had probably the weakest match of Final Resolution, so if that match didn't deliver, why are you doing it again? I mean, they had the perfect opportunity with this tournament to build up a new challenger for the belt that would match up better with Tara, but they just went with ODB again, which made the whole thing seem kind of pointless. I mean, Roxy or Hamada, that's who should have won. I mean, Tara and ODB's singles matches with each other haven't been that great. I mean, after Final Resolution, was anyone really interested in seeing those two fight again? I wasn't. I mean, it's definitely time to elevate some new challengers for the belt, but they're sticking with ODB for right now, which I don't agree with because, I mean, her title reign went absolutely nowhere. I mean, I know that Roxy and Alyssa Flash are both injured, and they're the only other really viable contenders since the other girls are doing the tag team thing right now. So maybe the writers feel like ODB is the best option for the time being. Hopefully, when those two heal up, one or both of them will get a shot at the belt. And if ODB isn't removed from the title picture, then at least there would be someone else in there to kind of be a buffer between her and Tara, which is something that I think they need. Having said all that, I did like this show a lot. I thought this was one of the more enjoyable TV shows that TNA's put on in a while. I mean, the tournament would have been better if Sarita and Taylor had been in it instead of Tracy and Velvet Sky, but I still thought it was pretty good, even if I didn't agree with the winner. So, I guess the failure of New Year's Knockout Eve was that it didn't really break any new ground creatively. Mostly they just set up Tara versus ODB for the January 4th show, which probably would have happened anyway. I mean, they did do a good job of hyping that at the end, but I just don't think the match is going to deliver that much. And I mean, frankly, I'm a lot more interested to see Sarita and Taylor versus Kong and Hamada. I mean, if they give those girls enough time, that could be a great match. So, I mean, that's the match I'm looking forward to. I mean, if they had put Sarita and Taylor in this tournament and used it to build up their match with Kong and Hamada on Monday instead of just announcing it backstage, I mean, that would have been a lot better than what they did with April and Lorelei. But anyway, I did like the show on its own merits. Yeah, it was kind of a missed opportunity in some ways. I mean, they had the chance to. They had chances to do some more productive things, and they just didn't. But it wasn't a bad show. I mean, in terms of writing and booking, it was one of the better shows TNA's had in a while. So, it wasn't perfect, but it could have been so much worse. So, for the first time doing a Knockouts themed show, I think TNA did a nice job. I would like to see another one in the future where they could, hopefully be a little smarter about who they use and who they put over. But I'll leave it at that for now. So, Monday's tomorrow. Monday night's going to be a very big night for pro wrestling, so cross your fingers that both companies pull out something good. I'll see you then.